Today is Friday, August 2nd. What to know today about President Trump's surprise move in the trade war with China, and why there's so much uncertainty today in Puerto Rico. Plus, one of the biggest names in esports makes a major announcement. Apple plans some policy changes, and a new Orlando theme park in the works. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. And the trade war continues. In a surprise move, President Trump just said he'll increase pressure on China and add a 10% tariff on another $300 billion worth of Chinese imports. Meaning pretty much all Chinese goods coming into the U.S. will face an extra tax now. Because remember, Trump already put 25% tariffs on a bunch of Chinese imports earlier this year, and China retaliated with a tax on U.S. goods. But after the leaders of the world's two largest economies met back in June, there was a sort of truce, a promise not to add any more tariffs. Well, apparently, trade talks this week did not go so well. President Trump says China promised to buy more farm goods and didn't. And so, until there's a deal, quote, we'll be taxing them. Fox Business reports the new 10% tariff is expected to start September 1st, and China will likely retaliate again. So what does this all mean for Americans? Well, this next round of tariffs will target more consumer goods. The New York Times points to everything from iPhones and laptops to sneakers and children's books. So there's a chance over time prices of those goods could go up. The National Retail Federation said U.S. companies and consumers will be the ones to pay for these tariffs. And the Washington Post points out they're starting right as the holiday shopping season gets underway. Business groups in general are not happy about it, and stocks fell yesterday. And keep in mind, farmers are already getting extra government money to make up for the impact of this trade war. But President Trump says it's actually China that pays more of a price, and it'll be worth it for a better trade deal and relationship long term. Both countries say they're up for more trade talks again next month, so to be continued. Both the House and Senate have passed a 2-year, $2.7 trillion budget deal, which means it now heads to the president's desk for him to sign into law. NPR reports it set new federal spending levels, increasing both military and non-military spending, and gives a boost to how much the U.S. can borrow. Top Republicans and Democrats negotiated for weeks to come up with this compromise. Supporters say it had to happen for the government to avoid a shutdown or a crisis. The Trump administration had even warned it was possible the government could run out of cash if nothing was done. Politico reports critics, including some more conservative lawmakers and groups, say it's irresponsible and is simply too much government spending. Either way, President Trump is expected to sign it into law. At the end of the day today, Puerto Rico's governor is set to resign, yet it's still not clear who will replace him. Why? It's a bit complicated. Here's the deal. Next in line for governor is supposed to be Puerto Rico's Secretary of State, but the guy in that role resigned last month. Now, NBC News reports Governor Ricardo Rossello wants Pedro Pierluisi to be sworn in as Secretary of State ASAP in order to be able to take over as governor. But that might not happen. The island's political leaders don't all agree that he's the best new pick. So, if he's not confirmed today, that means the Secretary of Justice, Wanda Vazquez, will become governor, even though she's already made it clear she doesn't want the job. Remember, leaked messages showed Governor Rossello and other top officials said offensive things, which then sparked massive protests and calls for Rossello to step down. So he promised to be out by 5 p.m. today. Stay tuned to see who replaces him. A new rule was just announced in Saudi Arabia. Women over 21 years old will be able to apply for a passport and travel abroad without permission from a man, putting adult women on equal footing as men, at least when it comes to travel rights. The Wall Street Journal reports it'll end restrictions that have been a symbol of Saudi Arabia's ultra-conservative rule. The change comes as human rights groups have said Saudi Arabia's rules turn women into slaves to their male relatives. Even with the change in law, though, the custom of women having a male guardian will still be in place. But changes are slowly happening. It was just in 2017 when the country lifted a ban on women driving. It's part of a plan to improve the economy and get more women in the workforce. The new travel law is expected to go into effect in October. All right, we have more news ahead, but first, a quick break for our sponsor today, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes covering dozens of skills, with classes in everything from photography and creative writing to productivity and entrepreneurship. And there are classes for every level. As a journalist, it's my job to become a mini expert about a lot of different topics, and it's taught me over the years how important it is to learn new things. Well, Skillshare is a place that makes learning simple and convenient because it's all online and on demand. Whether you want to try out something new or improve your skills at a longtime passion, Skillshare has classes for you. I've already watched some classes about remote work, about managing a team, and improving systems for my business. So join millions of students learning on Skillshare, and the Newsworthy listeners get a special offer for 2 months free. Yes, Skillshare is offering 2 months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. So to sign up, go to Skillshare.com/newsworthy. Again, that's Skillshare.com/newsworthy to start your 2 months now. Skillshare.com/newsworthy. All right, now back to the news. One of the biggest names in esports just made a big surprise announcement. ESPN reports Fortnite megastar Tyler Blevins, aka Ninja, is leaving his super profitable and popular partnership with Amazon's live streaming platform Twitch, and will be gaming exclusively on Microsoft's much smaller platform, Mixer, from now on. The reason for the switch? Ninja is only saying he wants to be somewhere that lets him push the boundaries and reach bigger goals, and he thinks Mixer will let him connect with his community more. He's already made millions of dollars playing Fortnite and other video games on Twitch and YouTube, so this is a pretty big loss for Amazon. And it could be huge for Microsoft and its platform, Mixer, which has struggled to compete. Blevins will host his first Mixer live stream today from the Chicago music festival Lollapalooza. And by the way, if you don't know a lot about esports, it's expected to become a billion-dollar industry this year. We'll have a Thing to Know Thursday interview about it soon. Apple says it's changing its practices after facing some criticism. It all has to do with the voice assistant Siri. The Guardian had reported last week that Apple hired a contractor to listen in on some conversations you may have with Siri as a quality control thing to see if Siri is responding in the right way. And even though the checks are said to have happened on a small percentage of recordings, it still brought up privacy concerns, since a former employee said workers would hear confidential information. So TechCrunch reports Apple says it'll stop the quality checks for now, and the company is planning a future software update so users can choose whether to allow Apple to have access. By the way, Apple's competitors like Amazon and Google also use humans to review recordings for accuracy. There's a new Fitbit in the works that apparently has Amazon's voice assistant Alexa built in. The Verge says that's at least according to a well-known leaker who apparently got pictures of Fitbit's new smartwatch. If it's true, users would be able to talk to the Fitbit on their wrist like they can with Apple and Samsung watches. Fitbit says a possible upgraded watch could be ready before summer is over, so we'll see. Soon, you'll be able to get the emergency help you may need with just one tap. Engadget says Google will be rolling out a new feature on Pixel phones and some Android devices that will send an automated voice message to first responders with one tap of a button. Just choose medical, fire, or police. You don't have to speak if you're not able to, which will be helpful if you're in danger or for people with disabilities. Instead, the automated message will send info to first responders for you, like your location. Google says it'll be available in the coming months. Another Universal Studios theme park is in the works. This one will be called Epic Universe. CNBC says Universal's parent company, Comcast, is building the theme park in Orlando, Florida, a few miles from other attractions. And it'll be the largest single investment Comcast has ever made in its theme park business. There aren't a lot of details yet about what the park will have or what will be epic about it, but it will include hotels, restaurants, and shops. Analysts say it's possible the rides could be based on Minions, classic monsters, and even Nintendo. The new park comes just as Disney is about to open its second Star Wars theme park in Orlando. But Epic Universe won't open for a while. Something like this typically takes 3 to 4 years to build. And that's it. You are ready to go. Thank you so much for listening today. And remember, you can always read more about any of the stories we talked about in this episode. Just look for the links and sources in today's show notes. You can find them in the episode description in your podcast app or over on thenewsworthy.com. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button in your app or sign up for the daily email. This will help make sure you get new episodes for free every weekday. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning. I'll be back with more news on Monday. Have a great weekend.